Independence for Change, and I understand that Deputy Catherine Connolly, Deputy Thomas Pringle and Deputy Claire Daly are to share 7.5 minutes. Deputy Connolly? Two of you, just two of you.
So what time have we got, Terry?
7.5 minutes.
7.5. Thank you, Cahirley.
We don't barter for time here.
No. We're back at school. In relation to this matter, I welcome the bill in the sentiment of the bill, but I don't think it's going to achieve the change that we need. And our international obligations have already been cited. And as has been said, the United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child has recommended that Ireland amend the existing legislative framework to eliminate discrimination in school admissions, including the Equal Status Act. The Ombudsman for Children has recommended change, and she has gone and reviewed what was there in terms of our UN obligation as far back as a 2006 review of Ireland's implementation of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, and they recommend a change in the admission and so on. It also goes forward and looks at our international covenant on civil and political rights and our monitoring of that, and again the report was to remove the discrimination. And then nationally, so in this regard, I think the Labour Party is trying to change something without changing it really. I see their difficulty. There is a strong lobby not to change this. However, I think, again, like during the election, I think the Labour and perhaps the coalition government is a little out of touch with what people feel on the ground, and any of the surveys that we've seen and the people we've talked to are absolutely demanding change in relation to not discriminating against children. And the Minister for Education, and I welcome it, has said there will be more schools, and he has set a figure of 400 additional schools within a certain frame of time. But that doesn't sort out the problem. While it will give choice, it does not sort out the problem if you go to a small area and there's one school. How does somebody there who does not want to attend religion or go to a school with a religious ethos, how do we give that child and those parents rights under the Constitution? And I think, in fairness to the former Minister Ruairi Quinn, he did set out on a positive road to try and divest schools of patronage. However, the progress has been extremely slow, and as I understand it, only 8 schools have divested themselves. And I think it's a historical legacy that we have, where 96% of the schools are run by religious denominations. But actually people have moved on. And while I certainly value religion, I also value the right of a child to attend a school without having to participate in religious education. And so I don't think this amendment tonight is going to deal with the complexities of what we're facing. I think we need to look at it, and I think we need to grasp it so that we treat all children equally. We are giving rights to children who want a religious education, and we're citing the Constitution to back up those rights. But we're not citing the Constitution only as an obstacle when it comes to children who don't want that type of education. And you cannot pick and choose the Constitution to suit your argument. The Constitution sets out rights where people are entitled to education and rights where they're entitled to practice their religion. But there's absolutely no constitutional right that we would give public funding to a school who will only admit certain children of certain religions. There is no such constitutional right in relation to that. And if we were to change the law, and particularly the Equal Status Act, which at the time should have grasped the problem, but it didn't, and that's why we have a problem, because it allowed an exception which it shouldn't have allowed at the time. The UN had already our obligations, we were already not meeting them in 2000, and yet we brought in an Equal Status Act. Clearly the government of the time didn't have the courage not to do that.